On today's video, CEROLI's Crisis is back and it's revamped like crazy. There are 3 bosses, 2 more to come, and to make matters even crazier, all the mechanics changed. Every single one of these bosses has a different tactic, and this video is the full guide with examples of myself doing hell mode. So if you need to understand every single mechanic, every single tip and advice, I'm gonna go in depth about every skill, every boss, so you succeed to do any level. We'll go over the shop and everything you need to know in here. So sit back, drop a like on the video, and let's go. Hey there YouTube, welcome back to Gekko Gaming. Last night, CEROLI Crisis appeared with a brand new game mode. It looks awesome. It is very, very challenging, and we're gonna go over each boss. I'm gonna show you every single one of the fights that I succeeded in and explain to you in depth everything you need to know. Before we start though, I'm a sponsored content creator by Rise of Kingdoms, and did you know 57.2% of you guys aren't subscribed yet? If this full guide helps you guys succeed and your alliance succeed, make sure you're subscribing to the channel and turning on the bell. And of course, share this video with your alliance mates so they know what to do. In the description down below, you will find every boss time code so you can go straight to that part, see the fight, understand how it works, and all the explanation. So let's go. Let's start off with the whole layout of this event. In this new mode, you have 3 opportunities to defeat the boss and get rewards. You can try as many times as you want, but once you defeat all three times, you are done. That's about it. Each time you defeat the boss, you are guaranteed 750 CEROLI coins in hell mode, as well as a potential drop of all of these possibilities right here. And the lower you go on the level of difficulty, the less coins you will get, but it'll also become easier. You also have power minimum restrictions. You have to have a certain amount of power to get through these levels. Now, what are these coins used for? They have added a brand new shop. Apparently Lilith really liked coins of all sorts of stuff, so you can choose what you want. I kind of dig it, I'm not gonna lie to you. The shop is really, really neat. Avatar frames, name plaques, a nice little, this looks like a decoration, I'm assuming. There is the blueprints that we knew and saw that were available, and these are blueprint fragments. So from the shop, you can assume and see that you can get 1 piece of the pants, 3 pieces of the helmet, and 1 piece of the shoes. How do we know it? You need 30 fragments to get 1 blueprint, and there are only 30 available of these, but 150 of this one. You also have here Vanguard set in, which is pretty neat, 3 pieces of each, and a bunch of cool emojis, Kiera emojis. Down below, we have resources, teleports, a bunch of good stuff, really. 500 AP pots, that is right, and you can pick up tons of them. My goodness, this is gonna be fun to go through. I personally am super biased towards these little things right here. I mean, you can only get them here, but at the same time, since I have my Lost Kingdom coming up, this might have to be the play and have to give up on the name plaque and all that for now. It's your choice what to get, and I believe that this is super cheap. I mean, heck, I can get 10,000 AP from only doing 2, 3, 4 times out of 9. So realistically, there's like 22,000 AP up for grabs, even more from this event. Fairly awesome thing considering AP is so scarce. But let's go into each boss, read through the rules, and then you guys will see an example of me running through it, and I'll give you a commentary on everything you need to understand on the run. Trust me, reading the rules is not enough. You're gonna have to see it yourself. Let's start with boss number 1. We'll go 1, 2, and 3. So Kiera, we kind of know her, except that she changed. That's right. Back in the day, it was go out, just hit. Try to avoid the arrows, hit. And if you're trying to break a world record, then it was just hit. Now, she's changed a little bit. Curse of Jealousy. Or jealousy, yeah, jealousy, I read it right. Choose a target at random that is attacking you. After 3 seconds, deal area of effect damage in a small area centered on the target. Enemies who take damage from this skill take a 50% extra damage for 20 seconds. Second skill, Endless Dusk. Every 40 seconds after the battle starts, there will be a brief warning followed by a rain of arrows covering the entire map for 8 seconds. Damage caused by the arrows will increase with every second. This we already knew from the previous version of Kiera. Royal Bloodline. After being in battle for 300 seconds, damage dealt increased by 10,000. If you don't beat her in 5 minutes, you're donezo. Ruthlessness deals massive damage, 500 damage factor to a target. Not so massive. CEROLI Warrior. When attacked, there is a chance to summon Guardians. Cooldown of 10 seconds. The Guardians will have an active ability which deals damage to a single target. And finally, CEROLI Executioner. When attacked, there is a chance to summon Elite Guardians. Elite Guardians have an active ability which deals damage up to 3 targets in a forward-facing cone shape fan and heal some of the wounded troops. Those are the skills for Kiera. Let's go through the skills of the second boss, and then at the end we'll go through each boss and show you the examples. So for the lady Frida, she is a cold, mean boss. Blade of Rhyme. While in normal form, expand 2500 rage and deals damage 1000 to all enemies in a forward-facing fan shaped. Arctic expands. Whenever attacked, there is a chance to deal delayed area damage of 3000 factor underneath a random target. Frida starts in Freezing Seal. Frida starts off battle in normal form and enters frozen form after 60 seconds, rendering her invincible and reducing her attack to 50% of her original value, and it lasts 90 seconds. Relentless Assault. After entering frozen mode, continuously summon troops that attack governors. On hard difficulty or above, normal attacks of summoned elite troops deal area damage of 200 factor to all targets in the forward-facing fan-shaped area nearby the primary target. Frida summoned in Freezing Gasp. Troops have 30% chance to debuff their target's normal attack, reducing their defense by 5% for 10 seconds, and it stacks up to 15 times. Thawing point. She thaws. When frozen form ends, deals damage 10,000 factor multiple times in a circular area. Frida then reveals back to normal, and it reverts back to normal, but increases all damage taken by 50% for 60 seconds. Reading not so great today. Blade of Defrost. The troops led and summoned by Frida deal reduced damage to infantry units. And finally, if you don't beat her in 10 minutes, there she goes, 10,000 damage dealt increase. Let's go to the next and final boss, the annoying one, Astrid. Astrid's Spear Volley. While in spear stance, expand 2000 rage and deals a direct damage factor of 1000 to all enemies in a front-facing shape. Puncture Wounds. While in spear stance, any target struck by Astrid's skills will be debuffed for 60 seconds. Increases the target's continuous damage taken by 500%. Their effect can be stacked, and each stack will refresh during the duration of the entire stack. This effect cannot be removed. Very, very important. You'll see it in my run, which took forever, and you'll understand how critical understanding these skills are. But it's not enough just to read. You need to see it to understand how it works. Ways of Fire. While in spear stance, whenever attacked, there is a chance to randomly select a target. And after 8 seconds, Astrid charges at the target for 7 seconds. If Astrid is successful to hit the target during her charge, she deals damage of 3000 factor to all targets in the nearby area and debuffs them with 3 stacks of negative effect of the puncture wound. You'll see that in the run and understand it better. The text might seem very clear-ish or weird-ish to either way, but when you see it in action, you'll understand it very, very well. While in club stance, expand 2000 rage and deal continuous area damage of 1000 factor to all enemies in a forward facing fan-shaped area. Lasts for 3 seconds. Intimidating aura. While in club stance, whenever attacked, there is a chance to silence the target for 3 seconds. Broken wings, while in club stance, increase all damage dealt by 30%, but also increase all damage taken by 50%. Important one for you to know. Weapon swap. At battle start, Astrid will use a spear to battle. After being in spear stance for 60 seconds, Astrid will go to club stance. After being in club stance for 60 seconds, she'll switch back to spear, so forth and so on. But if you don't get her in 5 minutes, dead, gone. All right, now let's go into the footage. That didn't work out, I know. Let's go into the footage of the runs, and I'll give you exactly a better commentating detailed thing of how to get it done, because reading the rules is not enough. You really need to see it to understand it, especially with Astrid. So let's get going to Kira first. All right, so let's start with Kira real quick, and I'll start by saying the one most important thing. She's about 50% luck, and there's nothing you can do about it. The reason for that is the arrow shower is what'll wreck you, and the only way for you to defend yourself is to go into those shields that appear on the map. The problem is, if the shield appears on the other side of the map, you're screwed. You'll never get there. 2 of those arrow showers and you're donezo. So it's a little bit of a luck thing where the shields appear. Now, as you're seeing this in the background, let me give you guys a couple of tips and advice that you really should know about her and generally about these bosses. And I'll have to repeat it again and again for the folks who just decide to jump to the next boss without listening to this one. There are 3 important things on the screen you need to know about. The first one is the red circle around the marches. For example, you can see Rav and the folks up on the top had it. You'll see it more and more through the fight. Pay attention to that red circle. The red circle around the marches means they are under a debuff. The second most important thing you should know about is, which is related, is right under my Edward right there. That is the debuff timer. You need to pay attention to the debuff timer, especially on the 3rd boss. The last and final thing that's very crucial for you to know that's on the screen is right underneath the boss's name. My name is there right now. That means I am currently the primary target. Understanding these 3 things will be crucial for you to finish the 3rd boss. In here, it's also important for you to know because you can see which one of your alliance mates has debuffs or not, who is the primary target, which means who is going to be the next person who's going to get an arrow on their heads, which is problematic. The arrow on the head is very annoying. Back in the day, it used to only do damage. Now, it also slows you down. A combination of getting hit by that arrow AoE thing and a shower of arrows going up and having to run half them up to get to the shields is really, really bad. We got lucky. Our shields were relatively close to where Kiera was at all times on this run. So even though at the end of it, I believe only Lewis and I survived, we managed to get her done. But this is pretty much what you need to be doing. Now, I know it's lagging like crazy. You need to realize that what you're seeing on the screen is probably not what is actually happening on the field. So if you need to maintain some sort of distance or you need to get to a shield or something like that, start early, because what you're seeing on the screen, it does not reflect what's actually happening due to lag. You'll see a couple of times I was under shield and still took 2 arrows because it was just lag. You can see NTAP right there has a red circle. If you haven't noticed those yet, there you go. I have one as well, which is why my timer is up. And since Rav is the primary target, it's also why Kiera went up towards us. Now NTAP came out of the shield supposedly early. Not really, it was lag. You saw he didn't take any damage. This first boss is strictly luck. You need to get full DPS, meaning either Genghis Khan Minamoto, maybe a Edward Yisongye, Edward Tamaris. I've seen Guans on the field. Alexander's, not a big deal which one you used, but you really want to be DPS heavy. DPS means damage per second. Why? These bosses require you to finish them within a timely manner. This one of 5 minutes. So if you're not doing enough damage per second, you might have a very big problem, because once you cross those 5 minutes, nothing survives. Nothing. As Lewis had to throw up a little bit. Rav is about to go down, and we have about 50 some seconds remaining-ish, give or take, on this fight, and it was a really, really tough one. 230,000 damage in 49 seconds. I could have sworn we didn't get it. For the record, the 5 minutes begin from the moment you start fighting her, not from the moment the timer started. So the time you're marching towards the boss doesn't count towards those 5 minutes. Which is why you'll see, I believe it went down to 9:40 or even 9:35 as we took our time to march forward. Why is this important? It's important because if you're coming out of the gate first, you should not go instantly towards the boss. You should wait until all your comrades are out on the field and only then walk together. So the recommendation is click on the boss, send the marches, and shoot them sideways really quickly. Make sure everybody got out of their city first, and only then go target the boss. 141,000 health remaining, and we were getting super close. There were about, I think, 20 some seconds remaining. Maybe she had a little bit more time. If I'm not mistaken, she is a 300 second commander. At this point, NTAP was almost going down. NTAP with only a 25% army expansion. When you're doing hell mode, you need everything. You need attack boost, you need 50% army expansion, you need rune, you need war frenzy, you need everything, because you need to be doing a lot of damage per second, or else you are screwed. So I'm noticing that for some weird reason, we crossed the 5 minute mark and she still hasn't procced her skill. So maybe she is a little bit bugged, but hey, I'll take it for sure. It was only me and Lewis remaining, and 78,000 damage. Can the dream be real? Well, the dream is real. We did manage to get it, and you'll see what we got at the end. And right after that, we'll go to the fight of the second boss. That one is much easier, so long as you can follow instructions and you realize that you don't really need to do much. You'll see that in a moment. The second boss, in my opinion, the easiest one to get rid of very quickly. We did it in one shot, and yeah, Kira took me a couple of times just because we got a bit very unlucky once or twice with shields going as far as like half of the map. And the last boss. Listen, the last boss, you're gonna want to send your alliance mates to listen to this video, because it is a nightmare if you don't understand the mechanics well. 21,000 health left on this thing, and yeah, it looks like fairly successful. Lewis and I got it done. As you can wait it out a little bit, you know, as you watch the beautiful Edward do its thing. And Dunzo. Oh, wait. There it goes. Come on. Bam. That was Kira. Now let's move on to the second boss. All right. So the second boss is super easy. The second boss's mechanics are actually fairly ridiculous compared to the other two. As I mentioned in Kira's, all you gotta do is get a little lucky with the shields and go to the shields. On the third one, which you'll see, there's a lot of mechanics to understand. On this one, the trick is fairly simple. You want to have, again, DPS, meaning damage per second, the more the better. So again, a Khan, Minamoto Khan, Edward Yisongye, Edward Tamaris, Alexander's, Guan's, all that good stuff. Anything you have that does tons of damage per second, that's what you want. Now this boss, as you can see, it picked Bob as a target. As long as Bob doesn't move, as long as Bob doesn't do anything, Bob will pretty much take most of the damage, which is not that significant. It randomly chose this other guy right next to me for a couple of attacks, as you can see, and I'm already preparing. Because when I ran this boss, I didn't know exactly what to do. I was told very simple, when he goes white, run away. I didn't know what that meant, so I was ready to run away. What this means is fairly simple. This boss right here, what she does is she is a freezing boss. And when she gets close to, after a certain period of time, she freezes. When she freezes, you want to run away. And you want to stay at the edges of the map as far away as possible. This is why you also don't want to move when you're hitting her. You want her to stay in the center of the map like she was when she spawned, and that's it. If you're getting damaged like Bob is more than anyone else, don't be a stupid person and move away so someone else takes the damage. Just take the hit, let your alliance mates do their thing. This is frozen mode. This is when you bail out. At this point, she's taking no damage whatsoever. She's invincible, all right? And she does a little bit more damage, but she's invincible, okay? What you want to be doing right now is you want to be staying at the edges and killing these barbarians. Why? As you can see, they are stacking defense debuffs on me like crazy. She is currently immune to all damage for another 37 seconds, and I'm 45% damage down. It's defense down. It's important to kill them. It is important to kill them. Target them and destroy them by staying on the edges. Don't go inwards by any chance whatsoever, because once that timer ends, she does that AoE skill, which we mentioned earlier. You'll see how big it is. I got hit by it once because I didn't know what I was doing, but if I stayed in place, I wouldn't have. And trust me when I tell you that thing is nasty. That thing will wreck you. And as long as you stay on the outskirts, you'll be completely fine and you will be easily done with this boss. As you can see, I'm waiting to see what to do. I didn't know there was this. I got lucky that the first time it didn't go. The second time it went, I didn't know it was not over. And then came another one. I was like 37,000 damage. Whoops. Not a big deal. You just wait for the 3 times the AoE goes and then right back into business. You really want to make sure to target those barbarians out real quick. Even though, you know, you have 10 full minutes to get her done, getting rid of those barbarians will be really helpful for you to just sustain and be able to continually do this in case you don't have enough DPS to get it done like we did just within the first time she froze. Again, if she freezes again, you really want to make sure you get as far away as you can from her. In this particular scenario, she moved upwards and that way a little bit. So you'd want to come this way, I guess, based on where the camera is, so you don't get hit by that AoE when she defreezes. That's it. That's all you got to do. Very simple, very easy. Hit when she freezes, get out. When she doesn't, she defreezes, wait for the AoE to end, and get back in. Easy peasy. As you can see, this was my first take on her, first run, first time done, fairly easy. Kira took me a few attempts when we got unlucky, and the third boss. We're gonna get to it in a little bit. 34,000 health remaining on this boss, and just like that, she froze, but we did enough damage just before she froze due to lag. We finished. All right, so this final boss is super simple to beat once you understand the mechanics, which are fairly annoying. So there are 2 modes of this boss, blue and red. Blue is the debuffing mode. Red is the damage mode. Once you understand this, everything becomes much easier. There are 2 attacks that this boss does that stack debuffs on you. The first one being a fan-shaped one, which you'll see right there. And the second one is the one with the arrow on your head, which Jazz currently has as he is the primary target. And you'll see in a moment a circle around the boss and spears coming out. Not this one, this one. And that stacks 3 debuffs on anyone within that area. Now, there are 2 ways to get this done fairly simply. The first one is like we're doing right here. As long as he's blue, you just do as much damage as possible. You maintain yourself in a cross or a plus or a up, down, left, right positioning so that you can get away from those fans right there and not reset your timer. Every time you get hit with debuffs, the timer resets. And as you can see, those circles right there of dust is when the boss changes from blue to red and from red to blue. During red mode, if you have a debuff timer, you do not want to get close to it. You're going to get destroyed. But what you do want to do is what I'm doing right here, which is you want to confuse it and not have the same person being the primary target, or else someone can get caught in a corner and screwed over. So you want to stay close enough to help your alliance mates, but also close enough like I did right there, so that when your debuff ends, you get back in the action. If you have debuffs and you attack, you're donezo. That skill you saw right there will hit you with 50,000 damage plus. But once you're not debuffed, doing damage to this is no problem. So the way you finish this boss in a very, very simple way is 1. Understand who is the primary target, currently myself. 2, understand how much time you have left on your debuffs, and everyone in your team has to know that as well. And 3, make sure that if you're doing our thing, which is stay close to it in blue forever, then you can get hit by the AoE. That's fine. You'll have about a 30-second cooldown that you'll have to wait during red. But try to not get hit by the fan-shaped debuffs, especially the second one. What happens is in blue, it'll fan shape, AoE, fan shape, then go red. So you want to make sure you only take the fan shape in this case. Continually do damage while blue, run away while red. You see I have stacked 5 debuffs, and then from there, keep doing damage. That's it. I'll repeat that again. The fan shape does 1 stack of debuff. The AoE does 3 stacks of debuff. Fan shape again for a 5th one. If you are the primary target, which I was up until a couple moments ago, you'll have 5 like me. Thankfully, Sparta took away the focus, and so that fan you saw right there didn't reset my timer, but it did his. Which means that now that this is red, Sparta is going to have to stay the heck away for a little while I only have to wait 10 seconds before attacking. Again, all you need to do is pay attention to the debuffers, the timer on the debuff, and start hitting. If you want to try a more conventional way, what you can try to do is whenever someone has arrows on their head, only that person runs away. Within 7 seconds, if he or she don't get hit, then there is no AoE debuffer, and then you can hit more and probably get this done a little bit quicker, but it's not necessarily needed. In this case, we got it done. This took us forever until we figured it out. And all it is hit it like crazy when blue, run away when you have a debuffer as red. Once you're done with your debuff timer, go back in, try to stay away from the fan debuffer. If you want to stay away from the AoE debuff, you can try to do that too. It's not really recommended because timing it is a little weird. Keep an eye on when the boss changes modes with the the dust storm right there, and you should be good to go. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't get hit in red with debuffs. Do as much damage as humanly possible during blue, and don't get your timer reset as much as you can. If you're the primary target, it is what it is. But if you're not the primary target, try to stay away from the primary target. That's pretty much that. If you're the primary target, don't run away in blue. Stay primary and help your alliance mates. I hope the explanation was clear and you guys will manage to get done your bosses correctly in whatever level you do. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the attempts I have to get finished before the day ends. Although technically, I think the event lasts for another 3 days, so I could wait with it a little bit. With that being said, I'm Gekko. I'm out of here. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. I hope you found it informative, helpful, useful enough for you to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys sooner rather than later. Thank you for all your continued support and all your kindness and all this dream slowly and steadily coming true. You guys are the best community out there, and I'll see you guys sooner rather than later. Take care. Peace.